Kristen, it is time to start preparing yourself for these kind of problems in the future.
No, let's just focus on the now.
All right. Well, right now, your son is how old?
He's 1 year.
Oh, it's such a beautiful age.
He's really cute.
Now we're just going to fast forward to where he's 14.
No.
He's up in his room all by himself.
No.
And you roll up there to tell him that dinner's ready. So you go to get him. You don't even knock on the door. You just open up the door. And there Jimmy is.
Nope.
Watching himself some funky porn.
Blech.
Yep, at 14. What do you do, girl? What is it you're going to do? It's the freaky stuff, too.
I'm going to close the door.
Good stuff.
I'm going to close. Here, this is what I'm going to do.
You got to pay extra for
Yeah,
it.
he's past the
Will you
paywall.
shut up?
He's a member.
That's on her American Express?
Wait a minute. If you need a
Stop!
picture
No.
painted, you open the door, and there he is.
Oh,
Going to work. Okay, Tommy.
take it a little too far.
You're about to piss me off.
Is that
I'm
a
on the
jibber
verge.
jabber?
I am on the verge of getting legitimately pissed.
I'm sorry. I just love that sound effect.
Stop talking about my 1-year-old child masturbating, you creeps.
You just ruined one of my favorite childhood toys.
All right, so it's not that far.
Yeah,
but you still walk in there, and he's past the paywall.
Okay, stop it. I'm closing the door. I'm walking downstairs, and I'm going to my husband, Bart, and saying, you need to have a talk with your son.
Way to handle it.
And I know why there's a virus on our computer.
Yes.
All right, so in this email here, and we're going to bring a pro in to get an answer for this one. Same type situation. He's 14 years old, and they caught him watching porn. And
No, not same type of situation. It is his situation. It was never Jimmy's situation.
We don't know that yet.
Yeah, we don't know.
The future hasn't happened yet.
Right. You can't predict the future.
Same type of situation of Kristen's future 14-year-old 13 years down the road.
It's a new truth, Kristen. You spit cheese on a rich guy's feet.
Apparently, Donnie.
That's right.
Apparently.
Story is a story. You just proved that to us a couple of minutes ago, Don. All right, so the email says that this is pretty much what's going on in their house.
I actually want to protest and not even read this email from what I just had to endure, but whatevs. All right, hey, Bert Show. I listen to your show all the time, and now, unfortunately, it's my turn to ask for advice. I've been divorced from my ex-husband for 5 years now. We share 50-50 custody of our son, who is high-functioning autistic and will be 14 in June. We usually co-parent pretty well, but this situation has me fuming. When he's with his father, he walks home from the bus stop to his house. Well, today, my ex-mother-in-law stopped by to check on him and caught him watching porn in the living room. I don't know if he was playing piano solo, but she freaked and embarrassed him. When I got off work, I called my son to see how he was doing, and while I was on the phone, his father came home and immediately started yelling at him and questioning him on how and why he was watching porn on the TV, then proceeded to ground him off the internet. I'm so hurt for my son. I was listening the whole time, and the embarrassment and shame in his voice broke my heart. He said, I don't know what's wrong with me, to his dad, but he just dismissed him. But I feel it's so wrong to react and treat him like this for something that is completely normal. I called out and confronted his father, but it fell on deaf ears. I decided to make an extra trip to go see him, and I had a heart-to-heart talk about how they are overreacting, and he did nothing wrong, but maybe next time be more private, to use the shower or his room. But what else can I do? I don't want my son developing some kind of complex over all this crap. Has anyone had to deal with this co-parenting nightmare?
All right, so let's bring in a professional to help out future Jimmy here.
Stop it.
The expert is Dr. Cheryl Ziegler. She's a therapist, author. She's been TED Talks speaker as well. And she wrote an article in 2019, which is perfect for us, which was called My Kid Watched Porn. We'll just substitute my kid for Jimmy. Jimmy watched porn. What do I do?
I'm going to come across this table and send you across the face.
She's the author of a book called Mommy Burnout. She's been featured in New York Times, Today Show, CNN. She's super, super fancy. Good morning, doctor.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Really good. Thank you for joining us this morning. So I think a lot of parents are going through this, and I know it's probably a longer conversation, but in the interest of time, what do? You walk in on your child, and there they are watching porn. Is there a correct way to handle it?
There is a lot more correct than what happened here. So the first thing people need to know is that one of the stats says that about 90% of kids by the age of 11 have watched porn.
Did you say 90%?
Of
Yeah.
11.
By 11.
Wow.
So it's very, very high. It's going to be common that they're going to come across it, at the very least come across it, because they're curious. So the first thing you want to do is you want to stay calm. This poor kid, he didn't do anything wrong. There's nothing wrong with him. And so you need to stay calm. And they really, in this kind of situation, you really want to talk to him. He's almost 14. I wonder if anyone has talked to him about puberty, about sex, about masturbation. These are all conversations that really need to start happening probably about 10 or 11 years old. And so it sounds like they probably haven't had these conversations. So the first thing is stay calm and also make sure if you haven't been in these shoes yet, you likely will be in these shoes. So get ahead of it. You be the one to give your kid the information.
So what is the information that you're giving the kid? I mean, clearly watching porn has ramifications, negative ramifications, if you're doing it over and over and over again. So what is the conversation?
So I think the conversation, let's say in this kind of case, would be obviously you're curious about something, and that's really normal. It's normal to be curious about the way men's bodies look and women's bodies look, and, of course I'd want to know how many times have you been watching this, but I would say let's talk about what's really normal, even the feeling that you want to touch yourself. In this case, we don't know if he did or not, but that's really normal. This is where we do it, like the mom said. Let me get you some books. Let's read some of these. So the kid needs to know that, A, what he did was pretty normal. It was exploratory. We wanted to stop. We wanted to get information from the right places. And then the last thing for him, I think that's really important, is we don't know the type of porn he has been witness to. And a lot of what's out there is really concerning. It's not even sex. It's definitely not love. And he needs to know, especially being on the autism spectrum, they can be really concrete. So you want to be able to tell him that's not love. Those two people don't love each other, or they're not even in a relationship. And so it's really important to also give him that message.
Look, chances are pretty good this 14-year-old has never had sex before. So how does that conversation even go that's not real? That is a very blown up picture of what something very intimate is supposed to look like when he's never had the experience for himself.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. So the first point is that before you have sex, you should know what's happening with your own body. So for him, the conversations around things like pubic hair and, testosterone and his testicles getting enlarged, because these are all the things that are happening to him. His shoulders should be getting broad. Muscles should be developing. So just starting off with, here's what's happening to your body. And then that woman's body, girls your age don't quite yet look like that, but things are developing for them. So he should know what normal development is for him, normal development is for them, sexual desire is for him, sexual desire for other people, and then how do you know when to get into a sexual relationship? So that's what I would say to him. So what you witnessed was not love, was not really real. It was like a movie. It's a show. It's not real. But when you are, and then you talk to him about that, when you have feelings for someone, when you're in love, however they want to put that, you get intimate with somebody, and it usually starts with kissing. I mean, at some point he'll be like, oh my God, this is enough. But I think that initially the point is, it sounds to me like he could probably use just some really basic understanding of puberty, of what's happening to his body, of masturbation, and then the interest and curiosity around pornography. There's a curiosity, and it's so easy for them to access, but that there's other places to get that kind of information, and that what he witnessed is actually not helpful to him because it's not real.
Doctor, do you stress to them what the negative effects on watching porn are?
So you can. So it depends on what they've witnessed. So I would, right now in this kind of situation, this kid probably has a ton of shame. So I don't even know if he's going to be really honest about how many times and what he's witnessed. But let's say he is with somebody. There are the kids that I see in my private practice, they oftentimes really are very upset. They're very disturbed by what they've seen because what they've seen is usually really disturbing. And so we do talk to them about it because he can develop, almost a traumatic response to it and maybe be very adverse to anything sexual and just feel a ton of shame. And we want to relieve him of that shame. And so, yes, I would talk to kids about I mean, the detrimental impacts, at that age, you don't want to go too hard with that because kids get curious about things they're not supposed to look at. So you just want to be a little bit balanced with saying, those are things, you can go down even the legal route, right? Like you can go down this, you're not old enough to be purchasing anything like this or witnessing anything like this, and for good reason. It's not good for your brain because it's giving you the more wrong impression about what's happening. And also, there are times where people, who knows what they've watched, right? There can be abuse, there can be kind of suggestive things with animals or other things that are really out there. And so he needs a concrete understanding of what love is, what he's witnessed, if anything, and then process that. Maybe even truly having to go to therapy if he's been doing this for a while and they just happen to catch him.
And really quick, because we do have to go, and we appreciate you taking the time today, because I think this is going to be hugely helpful to a lot of parents. But when you're in a co-parenting situation, what can she say to her husband, or ex-husband, so they can be on the same page?
Yeah, I was thinking about that because this is a hard one.
Yeah.
And so I would say that he may need to get an external advice. So maybe he goes to a professional. Maybe he reads an article. Maybe he reads a book. There's a lot written on this. And so if I were her, I would say something like, I understand we're having a hard time with this. I'm really disappointed. We normally do well. Here's some resources, or you just go find some resources, because really we want to treat this well. We don't want to shame our child. No good will come out of shaming him.
Again, this is Dr. Cheryl Ziegler. If I were you guys and you were in this situation, I would go ahead and Google her article, which is called My Kid Watched Porn, What Do I Do? And that was in 2019. We're going to have you on again to talk about your book, Mommy Burnout, because we've been talking a lot about that
We got two of them on the show.
Yes.
Good. I'd love to come back.
We appreciate your time, and we'll go ahead and we'll link on over to drcherylziegler.com also. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Bye-bye now.
The Bert Show.
Hey, do you like what you just watched? Because you can get more Bert Show for free. We drop new podcasts every weekday, and you can find us anywhere. Spotify, Apple, any place you get podcasts.